plus meteorologist James Gregorio, and we've got a lot to get to. Predominantly, we're talking about the wicked cold, which is on the way, record-breaking cold on the way. In fact, where overnight low temperatures in Tampa will dip down into the upper 30s. That will snap a record that was in place for over 100 years. So it's in place through tomorrow morning. The impacts, of course, will be the cold air, how that may affect you getting out, getting rolling. It is a holiday tomorrow. It's Veterans Day, so likely no kids at the bus stop tomorrow morning, which is good news in that regard. So we don't have to worry about the kids being cold at the bus stop. Don't forget to layer up tomorrow when you head out early. It's really tomorrow morning that we're most concerned about. So not only do we have our weather impact alert in place for tomorrow morning, National Weather Service has freeze warnings and a cold weather advisory in effect for a large portion of our area as well. So that weather impact alert again through tomorrow morning. Record cold temperatures, wind chills not only near freezing but below freezing at times, particularly early tomorrow morning. So you have to dress in layers and keep those pets indoors. All right, so let's roll you through the planner. We'll go hour by hour tomorrow morning, starting out at about 37, 38 degrees. At 7 o'clock in the morning with that northerly wind. By 9, those temperatures will, climb out of the 30s into the lower 40s, but still not a very warm go. By 11 o'clock in the morning, we're hitting 50, but you'll notice as the morning turns into the afternoon hours, those temperatures only climb into the upper 50s for highs, never making it out of the 50s at all tomorrow, unfortunately, before those temperatures drop back off tomorrow evening. And then by 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., we're at 51 degrees. So another cold night on the way into Wednesday morning as well, but not record-breaking like these. So that cold is just going to be vicious, but it's going to be for one day only. So that's the saving grace. The silver lining in all of this is that the cold snap is a short-lived cold snap. So Tampa, the record 40 degrees set back over 100 years ago in 1892. We're going to bottom out at 38, breaking that record more than likely by 2, maybe even 3 degrees if we get down to 37, as some model guidance suggests we may. St. Pete will likely tie the record, staying slightly less cold, slightly milder. I don't want to call 44 mild, but it's not as cold as, let's say, Tampa, and certainly Brooksville will get at about 31 degrees. So a cold night on the way. As a result, cold weather advisory in effect here. That's shaded in the teal color. The purple color is a freeze warning, which is in effect from Panama City and through the Panhandle all the way on over towards Crystal River, Citrus County, and the Nature Coast. You've got that freeze warning in place. Cold weather advisory in effect for Tampa, in effect as well for St. Pete and in towards Lakeland Ranch, areas like that as we move in towards Fishhawk and Frostproof. We'll see how frostproof is tomorrow morning, where wind chills will be between 25 and 32 degrees. All right, so it's not only us dealing with the cold. Other folks across the U.S. are not only dealing with cold, but also snow as well. Let's take you into the upper Midwest, up to Michigan, up to Indiana, areas like that where they saw lake effect snow in many locations and just snowfall rates in 3 and 4 inches per hour. Chicagoland, first shot of some snow here, and that Arctic blast and frigid temperatures coupled with enough moisture, that means snow for the folks up in Illinois and in towards portions of Indiana as well and into the upper Midwest. That video is impressive, no doubt here. So an early shot of near whiteout conditions at times, especially with those significant snowfall rates here. So you're looking at Chicago. We've got video also of Indiana as well. That snow is coming down at a really good clip, and at times really snowing to beat the band there in through portions of Chicago, Indiana as well. Minnesota getting into the act, even into Michigan here. Snow on the cars in Minnesota. There it is. So not much. That's just a little dusting there, but enough to kind of make you drive a little more cautiously. And of course, getting the salt spreaders out, getting the snow plows out in many instances as well. Indiana, you could see creating some issues here. The snow and even some ice on the power lines. You can see that looks like a partially down power line. So the utility crews are out there. The problem is the snow gets so heavy on some of the branches, particularly on the pine trees and things of that nature, and just weighs them down, and they kind of snap and create issues. Toronto, Ontario, getting closer to Rogers Arena where the Blue Jays play, and you could see that it looks a little wintry. They've had some mild winters up in Toronto. Not the case there. The CN Tower, very close to Rogers Arena there. So again, if you've never taken in a ball game there, it's a great spot to be. So if it's on your bucket list, have at it. Toronto, great city, massive city. You can see when they do get snow, difficult. The city's so large to kind of keep those streets clean, and folks are out walking around, just business as usual. Just another day in Canada. All right, let's go back to the weather maps here and take a look at how we're faring. Current winds, for the most part, anywhere from 3 to about 15 miles an hour. So just as forecasted here, these winds are starting to back off a little bit here. So not quite as vigorous or as robust as they were earlier. So those winds starting to, again, drop off here. And that's important as we head in towards tonight. So as the winds will kind of lay down a little bit, that means that we have a better setup for those temperatures to really drop off with lighter winds and clear skies. It kind of allows the heat of the day to radiate back. We call it radiational cooling, kind of moving back into the atmosphere. In doing so, that lends itself to kind of colder temperatures, ideal temperatures to see, very cold readings, if not near record breaking and record cold as well. So pretty good evening for that. Very good evening, I should say. All right, so speaking of temperatures, we're sitting into the 50s and even the 40s in many locations. Zephyr Hills at 48, Dade City now at 49. That is significantly colder than where we should be for an overnight low temperature. So Safety Harbor at 59 rather. As we head towards Clearwater at 61, Seminole at 59 degrees, Port Richey at 57 as well. The Gulf has dropped a degree to 73. St. Pete at 61, one of the warmer readings. You can see St. Pete and Clearwater, two of the warmer readings, I should say. And as a result, they're kind of surrounded by a whole bunch of water, and the water temperature is a little bit milder into the low 70s. Let's expand the view a little bit here. Lakewood Ranch at 58, Sarasota at 61 degrees currently. But yeah, you move a little further inland and those temperatures in the 40s in a few locations already. So it makes sense that those temperatures are going to dip down into the 30s for overnight lows in many spots. And the further north you get towards Homosassa, towards Brooksville, as you get in towards Hernando and in towards Citrus County, those readings are cold, and that's where we have the freeze warning in place. So you have to especially be mindful of that as you wake up tomorrow morning. Turn the heat on tonight, and again, just be mindful that those temperatures will get down into the 30s. If you've got tender vegetation outside, things of that nature, you may want to cover that up if you can at this hour. It's this late hour, so sort of after the fact, but hopefully that hard freeze won't do any damage here. 24-hour temperature change. This has been substantial. 24 hours ago, it was 20 degrees warmer, or 25 degrees warmer in Lakeland. Crystal River was 20 degrees warmer yesterday at this time. So, said in another way, Crystal River is now 20 degrees cooler this evening, shortly after 8 o'clock, than where we were yesterday evening at this time. Zephyr Hills, 20 degrees cooler. Winter Haven, 20 degrees cooler than where we were yesterday at this hour. So these are some substantial departures, and it's going to get even worse. That spread is going to get even larger as we head in towards tomorrow morning as well. So it is going to be a cold morning tomorrow morning. Throw on the jacket, a hat, some gloves as well as you make your way out. I suggest warming up the car a little bit. Grab a hot cup of coffee. If you're fortunate enough to have heated seats in your car, maybe not, but if you do, you may want to turn them on. All right, Futurecast here. You can see the scenario. The winds are northerly, and that is just pumping in and draining in cold air all across Florida here. So the I-4 corridor, certainly not immune to that, all the way from Orlando to Tampa here into St. Pete as well. And as we move further southward into Bradenton and Sarasota and Punta Gorda, you've got those northerly winds as well. So as you head down in towards Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, same thing, same wind direction. So that cold air will just continue to track on the heels of that northerly wind. And in doing so, we're all going to cool down substantially. But the wind will change. It will switch direction. And that'll be part of the transition as we move in towards Wednesday, sort of that transition day. Thursday and Friday, we really start to warm things back up with high temperatures then in the mid-70s. So this will be a thing of the past. All right, as we move in towards early tomorrow morning, 2 a.m., you can see that, again, those winds are still northerly. All right, we'll talk more about it coming up, and we'll have a couple stories for you coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay News Plus.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Familiarize yourself with where your water shutoff valve is located. If backflow prevention devices are installed, get them tested annually.
Those are some great tips, and Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We have resources on our website and on our app. If you or someone you know needs to find out where there are cold shelters opening up tonight, our website is 10tampabay.com, and our app is free to download. Download it in the App Store and where you get your apps as well. Less than an hour from now, cold weather shelters across Hillsborough County are set to open their doors for people to stay warm overnight. Capacity is limited, so officials are urging people to seek family or friends first, if possible. Shelters will also be open tomorrow. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Eric Glasser explains what's impacted.
Well, tonight's cold snap isn't just chilly, it is historic. Temperatures across the Tampa Bay area are expected to dip lower than we typically see even midwinter, raising concerns for the 3 Ps, plants, pets, and people.
Over time, they're still going to be in the ground.
At nurseries like Willow Tree in St. Petersburg, crews spent the day rushing to protect plants that are still thriving from warmer weeks.
We're going to have a cold snap tonight that we don't usually get this early in the year.
Experts say if you can't bring your plants indoors, cover them overnight and uncover them in the morning once the sun comes up using cloth, not plastic, and make sure those covers don't actually touch the leaves.
You don't want the frost cloth or the sheet or whatever you use to touch the plant. You want to make a little tent with stakes around it. If we don't have frost, then we're okay, but you really want to avoid that frost.
At the Humane Society of Tampa Bay, staff are also warning pet owners.
If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pet. Don't put your pet outside.
And that's not just cats and dogs, but almost any pet, even birds whose cages might be out on the patio. 24 hours ago, people might have left those pets outside thinking nothing of it.
If you do have those indoor-outdoor cats, get them in. If for whatever reason you keep your dog sometimes outside, make sure that they come in. Just don't leave them outside overnight.
Thank you.
And most crucially, people. Local shelters, usually not concerned with providing a warm place to stay until the peak of winter, now scrambling to protect some of the area's most vulnerable. Uncomfortably cold in some parts of the Bay Area, dangerously so the farther north you go.
I have a place to be. It's warm. I'm not outside breathing.
The dangerously cold air is only expected to stick around for a day or two, but it is a reminder of just how quickly conditions can change. To find a full list of local shelters, you can head to our website, 10tampabay.com. In Tampa, Eric Lasser, 10 Tampa Bay News.
All right, Eric, thank you. Yeah, let's go back to the weather maps here, and we'll take a look at how we're faring. And as we move in towards tomorrow morning, 39 degrees, that northeastern wind is still with us. Now, if it's actually 19 miles an hour, I doubt we'd get down to 39. That would help us stay slightly less cold. We'll see if that pans out. I think the wind's going to drop out a little bit more than that. So I do think that we'll hit that 39 degrees here. As the day progresses tomorrow, these temperatures will warm by 2 o'clock or close to 2 o'clock. We're at 56, and I think we go up to 58, 59 for that daytime high. I don't think we break 60 degrees for that high temperature tomorrow here, and then into early Wednesday, you could see we're a little milder as well. The frontal boundary is the culprit here. Often we talk about cold fronts. There's so many impacts with cold fronts. Yes, as the name suggests, it is the leading edge of a new air mass, a cold air mass. That's why it's a cold front. It's the leading edge of that cold air moving on in, that boundary separating the cold air from the air that's in place. However, a lot of times it may not have a whole lot of cold air with it. A lot of times it may have some strong storms at ahead of the front. Sometimes it may not. Frequently in the wintertime, those fronts are a little bit more robust. Frequently they are a little stronger. Typically during the summer, they don't do a whole heck of a lot for us. So as you know, we don't cool down a whole lot during the summer, and we often have high humidity. Those cold fronts, though, in the summer could act as a pretty good kind of spark for some of those showers and storms, but they certainly don't provide a whole bunch of cold air for us. All right, speaking of that cold air, how has it been able to move all the way down to Florida? And the answer is in the upper air. You've got to look up in the upper levels of the atmosphere here. So everything kind of starts there, and we just kind of, adapt as we move down into the surface, if you will. So in the upper levels of the atmosphere, that cold air, that river of air, the jet stream, that dipped all the way down in towards North Florida and into Georgia. That has allowed the cold air to funnel out of Canada through the upper Midwest, through the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, and just plunge further southward into Florida as well. Now watch what happens. This is tomorrow morning. Notice that by later tomorrow, that dip in the jet stream starts to move a little further northward, and it's not as elongated. It's not as deep. It starts to flatten out a little bit. Moving into Wednesday, the ridge in the west, the yellows and the oranges and the green colors pushing all the way up towards Portland and Vancouver. That's where the warm air is. In the east, we're moderating a little bit here. That's the transition day, as I've been calling it, on Wednesday. And then by Thursday, some of that warm air out west is starting to shift towards us as that upper air pattern, that river of air at 30,000 feet, starts to move further north. In doing so, it allows the warm air both out to the west and what's south of us to sort of creep further northward, displacing and dislodging the cold air and kind of pushing it out of here. So we return to much warmer temperatures. We build our own ridge in through the nation's midsection. You can see we've got cold air essentially in the Northeast, in New England, and also cold air on the West Coast, and you have the warm air surging in the nation's midsection. This type of pattern we frequently call an omega block because it looks like the Greek letter omega, kind of like that. And in doing so, that warm air in the nation's midsection, cold air on both coasts, so it sort of drapes in that fashion. So we're, the recipients frequently of warmer temperatures when that happens. That warm air in the nation's midsection sort of slides eastward, and we warm things back up. Satellite radar shot here as we move in towards later tonight, current, next couple hours or so, you can see that things are pretty quiet as well. Forecast wind chills. Oof. So it's not only the cold. I know we've been talking about the actual air temperatures, but it's also the wind as well. So you factor in the wind, and it'll feel like it's in the 20s tomorrow morning. So Homosassa, 28 degrees. Orlando and Tampa feeling like 28. So that's a combination of the actual air temperature with the wind, factored in. So that wind chill temperature, what it feels like when you combine the two, making it feel colder because the wind sort of displaces heat from you. So when the wind is blowing, it actually feels colder. But if there was no wind, those temperatures might actually dip down lower. I know it seems almost counterintuitive, but that's the way it works. All right, so forecasted low temperatures as we move in towards tonight here. Brooksville at about 31 degrees. Crystal River at about 29. That's where the freeze warning is in place. We'll talk more about it coming up. We're going to take another short break, and we'll come back after the break and wrap things up. So stay with us. We'll be right back with much more.
I was involved in a very bad car accident. Called attorney Dan Newland, and it was like 1, 2, 3. Dan really got it done for me. At the end of my case, he got me $525,000.
As one of the largest personal injury law firms in the United States, my team and I remain committed more than ever to win big on your case. Involved in a car accident? Let's get started. Call me at 813-888-8000.
Thank you, Dan, for winning my case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Plus meteorologist James Gregorio. Thanks for joining us here. So another segment here where we'll continue talking about the cold air, forecasted low temperatures as we move in towards tonight. Crystal River, 29 degrees. Look at that. That's the actual air temperature. Brooksville, as we make our way slightly south there, 31 degrees. Newport Richey at about 35. Land O'Lakes at about 34. A little bit milder in St. Pete, as well as in towards Bradenton and Clearwater, all at about 40 or better on those overnight low temperatures. But even Lakewood Ranch getting down to 39. So Polk City head into Polk County, 34 degrees. Haines City about 36 as well. Frostproof. May not be frostproof tomorrow morning with that low temperature at about 36 degrees. So definitely some chilly stuff. Tonight, those numbers dipping down to about 38, mainly clear skies. Record cold, if not near record cold across the area. So those winds still with us out of a north, if not northwesterly wind direction. So again, that record goes back over 100 years for Tampa. That record is 40 degrees. So 38, substantially colder than that. So 2 degrees may not seem like a huge deal, but yeah, when you beat it by a degree, 2, 3 degrees, you start to see a pretty substantial difference, especially for a record that's been hovering around for essentially like 130 years. So that is, unbelievable to say the least. So I do think we're going to break the record under mainly clear skies. The winds will lessen if they stay a little more robust than 10 to 15 miles an hour, then the chance starts to diminish as well. But, this cold air mass has been pretty relentless. As I showed you earlier, it's not just the cold, it's also the snow that they had in through portions of the upper Midwest, in through the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, and in through portions of the upper Midwest, also a little further south in towards the Tennessee Valley, western New York, getting into the act as well. So that record cold will lend itself to us scrambling tomorrow morning for the jacket, the gloves, the hat. So if you don't know where all your cold weather gear is, or what little cold weather gear you may have, you may want to try and find it tonight before setting out. Lay it out tomorrow morning so you're ready to go. Have a hot cup of coffee, warm the car up tomorrow morning if you need to. And I do think the further north you get into the Nature Coast, you're going to have to scrape some ice off the windshield tomorrow as well. Speaking of tomorrow, that high temperature, not very. That high tomorrow into the upper 50s, never getting out of the 50s tomorrow morning. It is a cold morning, breezy as well. And again, we're going to be dealing with very cold temperatures. So even warming up into the 50s will feel a little bit better. Those winds will start to back off, which is good news as well. And then we set the stage for what will likely be a better go as we move in towards Wednesday, sort of a transition day. At least on Wednesday, we'll see those high temperatures top out at about 70 and then warmer from there as we head into later in the week here. But we start to moderate that air and we start to make some improvements as well. So certainly something to look forward to. All right, look at that 7-day forecast. So to recap once again, the weather impact alert is in place, is in effect right now, through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, through probably most of tomorrow morning, where we have your, record low temperatures in place. As we move into the afternoon hours, those temperatures will start to moderate. So we hope you will join us tomorrow on 10 Tampa Bay News. Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi will be in tomorrow morning talking about that cold, talking about the record cold as well. So we'll have your news, traffic, weather of the day, and those frigid temperatures as well. By Wednesday, highs will climb to about 70. Thursday, we've got mid 70s. So that